Have you ever noticed how when we're facing the unknown, sometimes it's easier to blame someone else or something else for what's going on rather than to just be in that liminal space that feels so uncomfortable because we don't know what's going on? Welcome back to Inner Space. These are tales of transformation from the edge of the unknown, and I am your guide, Danielle YS. Today, we're diving into the unknown and into those spaces where we are in the unknown and we're in our fight, flight, or freeze mechanisms that make us want to blame other people or other things for the situation that we're in. I remember when I first moved out to the San Francisco Bay Area, I went to celebrate the Halloween holiday with a number of my new friends by going to one of those corn mazes. Now, the goal of the corn maze is to get out of the corn maze. And so we spent about 15, 20 minutes walking through as a group together before a number of people started to say, oh, turn around. This isn't the direction you want to go to get to the exit. So we trusted them. We turned around and we kept looking for the exit of the maze. We kept looking, but we still couldn't find it. But over time, we started to get tired, cold, hungry, and cranky with each other. We started to get a little bit paranoid with each other, thinking that maybe someone in the group was telling us to go the wrong direction, sabotaging our mission to get out of the corn maze. After a while, I think it was about 2 hours, I had this moment of realization. Hold on. Why are we getting at each other's throats? Why are we turning on each other? And it was a moment of realization that maybe there's someone outside of our group that's messing with us. And maybe if we just worked together and took a moment to pause and maybe go back to where they said the exit actually wasn't, we might find it. And guess what? We did. But this was one of those moments of realization of when we don't know what's going on, when we feel stuck, when we feel lost, even the people that we are closest with can start to take the blame for our feeling like we are in the unknown, for our feeling like we are at loose ends and not in control. It's a way that our bodies and our minds and our psyches try to bring control back into our systems by blaming others, because it's a way for us to understand the situation better and a way for us to get out of that liminal space. So this is something that happens often when we are facing the unknown. We tend to blame others. We tend to blame something else or the situation when really there's nothing to blame. Really, all that is needed is for us to get a different perspective, to pause and say, wait a minute, is this actually what we need to be doing right now? And if it's not, to reorient, come back to your centers and to each other, and then move forward. Now, an interesting part of this story is that outside of the maze, there was this little platform up above where people could watch, and I'm sure was a safety feature that was built into the maze so that the operators could see if there was someone stuck when they were ready to close the maze. Now, this is a really interesting piece because if you just walk a couple steps up and stand onto that platform, you would have been able to see our group trying to find our way out of the maze, getting so close to the exit of the maze, our goal, and then turning around because someone told us that's not the way to go. Now, this is an opportunity that all of us have in our lives to get a little bit of a higher perspective when we feel stuck, when we feel lost, when we feel like everyone is against us and we can't find our way out. All we have to do is get a little higher perspective on the situation, on the problem, on the maze, and then we can start to see our way out more clearly. Now, of course, when we were inside the maze, we weren't able to step on top of that platform, look down, and figure out which way to go. And likewise, we didn't have the contact information for the people who were watching on top of the platform. We only had each other and ourselves to be able to walk through that maze and find the exit. But here's the thing, when we're facing the unknown within ourselves, we can step up onto that platform while we are down in the maze. We have the opportunity to be able to do both at the same time. And all it takes is one breath to bring us back into that center, to reorient to the center that is within each of us. And then to be able to take those steps onto that platform, to look up above, get a slightly higher perspective, to then be able to see what our next steps are. This isn't impossible. And this isn't just for people who are enlightened. This is for everybody. It is possible for everybody. And all it takes is one single breath to get us started. And then from there, what's possible is reconnecting with ourselves and those around us so that we can let go of the blaming, the paranoia, the judgment, the questions, the concerns, and just come back to moving forward together. Now, this applies outside of the maze. This applies to every single transition in our life, every single time that we are facing the unknown, because that maze really only exists within our minds, within our stomachs, within our psyches. The maze exists because we create blame, we create judgment, we create othering in our minds and in our hearts and in our stomachs and our bodies. But really, that maze doesn't have to be there, which is why we are able to step onto that platform at the same time as being in the weeds, in the maze. So the next time that you feel like you are facing the unknown, the next time that you feel like you want to blame someone or something else because there's discomfort in the unknown, take a moment and pause. One breath in. And ask yourself, what is the maze that I'm creating right now? And where is that platform that I can walk up? Now, if this resonates with you and you're curious and want to learn more about how to reorient to your center first so that you can climb on top of that platform, get the higher perspective, and then move forward together, I invite you to book a call with me so that we can talk about what your edge of the unknown is, what your maze in the unknown is, and help you get clear on your number one next step to move forward in a way that feels grounded and centered to you. Because facing the unknown really isn't about pushing through, and it is not about controlling your way through. It's about coming back to your center, reorienting to your center and who you are, and then moving forward from there. Thank you so much for listening and diving deep with me into your inner space. This work is so important for us to come to the edge of the unknown and to dive in with calm, curiosity, and courage. I can't wait to see you next time.